Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. I know it's been a long time, feels like a long time since the Steelers last played, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 8, which is a good thing considering how bad that loss was. It's a good thing. It felt like forever ago, at least to me. I do want to come back as I've had some time during the bye week to really evaluate Kenny Pickett's play in this game. I thought it was truthfully probably the worst game he's played so far of his short and young NFL career. I want to go over some of those mistakes, and again, all with the eye of where can he improve, things to watch for going forward. First example here to me is pretty indisputable, just poor pocket movement and awareness from Kenny Pickett, and on this one, a chance to hitch and climb in the pocket. The tackles do a good job overall of sealing the defensive lineman instead of hitching and climbing. Pickett's bailing and running, and this one leads to a holding call, an incomplete pass, so basically a throwaway from Kenny Pickett. So I think it's pretty common for a lot of young quarterbacks to not navigate the pocket particularly well. You have a guy that's mobile, that's used his legs in the past. You can probably get away with bailing on clean pockets and trying to turn things into scramble drills more in college than you can at the pro level. But this is a situation where there's a clean pocket, clean lane for Pickett to hitch and step up in. He's done that before this year, too. He's obviously capable of it, and there's really no good reason for him to bail, to make the blocking assignments much harder for the offensive line. Now the defensive lineman can go around, not through, create some of these penalties, and cuts down half the field. Just really bad all around on this play. This example, you guys can't see the play clock, but if you go back and watch the TV tape, which I can't show here for some copyright reasons, the play clock was down to about 4 seconds, and then Pickett decides to kill the play and check back to whatever an original call was, and Pittsburgh gets called for delay of game on this play. And so one of many first-half penalties. I believe Pittsburgh had 5 offensive first-half penalties in this game and backs up the offense 5 yards. Second time that's happened in the last couple of weeks against Tampa Bay. In week number 6, there was a late check and audible Pickett was trying to make, led to miscommunication, led to a third down sack. And so sometimes you just have to roll with the call that's out there if there's only a couple seconds left, because you're not going to have the time to make that last second check. 3rd and 10, second quarter for the Steelers, as you guys can see there. And Pittsburgh's running mesh sit. And so mesh is a very popular man-beating concept in the NFL. You see it all the time. Matt Canada, it's one of his go-to concepts where you're going to have 2 players running shallow crosses, one on top of each other. Claypool setting the mesh here, running over top of Deontay Johnson. A lot of teams will add in a zone component too, and that's going to be the sit concept in mesh sit, where you're going to have somebody sit down between the mesh, and that's basically your zone beater, where if it's zone coverage, you're going to sit down and be able to find grass here, and then underneath is your man beater in terms of the mesh concept. On this one, there is some debate here. It's certainly not a good throw. That much is obvious. I don't know if I love the decision, though, from Kenny Pickett. I understand it is zone coverage, and so maybe you're looking at that sit part and component of the concept more, but with this linebacker, TJ Edwards, a good linebacker, by the way, really right in front of Pat Freiermuth. Pickett sees it. I think Pickett sees the linebacker, is trying to fit that ball into a really tight window that just is not there. This one sails high. Very fortunate this pass was not picked off. So I understand against zone, you're probably looking towards that sit concept first, but I think actually the mesh was more open here, even though it is zone coverage. I get it's 3rd and 10, and so you're trying to throw to the sticks here, but you do see the mesh component underneath. Again, there's going to be these guys are going to rally and drive to the football. It's not as open as maybe it appears, but with a linebacker really sitting in this middle zone, I don't think you can throw the sit component of it. I think Pickett should have gone elsewhere in this one. In a best-case scenario, it's just a bad incompletion. Certainly could have been intercepted. So one last look from the end zone view, and then we will move on to the next snap of Kenny Pickett. This one will probably elicit some debate as well. I did see, and I talked about this early in the week, shortly after the Steelers game last week, that I thought Kenny Pickett should have thrown George Pickens vertically here instead of throwing the back shoulder play. There was some critique and some debate about that, which is all well and good and very healthy. I know that Chris Hoke did speak and agreed with my thoughts on the sense of this one should have been thrown vertically. So, just watching this play here, you're looking at the pre-snap coverage and initial, picture post-snap here. You're getting, it's cover one-on-one to the outside. The deep safety's on the far hash to the trip side, so Pickens, the X receiver on this play, he's isolated backside, man coverage against the right cornerback, and Pickens wins off the line. And he's, getting a good release here. He's stacking this cornerback. He very clearly has all of this space downfield. I'm not sure why Kenny Pickett would throw this one back shoulder and turn this into a contested play. It's a good back shoulder throw. It's a play that George Pickens could have and maybe caught. Mike Tomlin did not challenge this one, and you can argue that he should have. So that part isn't bad, the actual throw, but the decision to convert this into a back shoulder play instead of going vertical, to me, this is a great opportunity for 6 points. If George Pickens catches this one in stride downfield, I think he's got a great chance to score here. So typically, and I'm assuming some things here not being part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, typically these are more site adjustments where you're going to run this route or break this route based off the coverage and the leverage of the cornerback. So if you're not beating the cornerback, if you're more even, or if the cornerback's playing off, or if the safety's over the top, you're going to convert this into that back shoulder or a comeback or something like that. If you're beating the corner, and Pickens to me you're going to keep running this one vertically. And so I just don't quite understand the decision here. I don't know if this is so rigid that they can't throw out of this, but I think you have to create this play here. I understand when Pickett throws the football right about there. I think you have to anticipate, though, that Pickens it has a step, has a good release here. Nobody else can make a play. Safety on the far hash, and let this thing fly and get those big plays that Pittsburgh really needs. So don't love this one. Instead of being that vertical throw downfield, becoming a contested catch situation that even if it is caught, it's a 27-yard gain or something like that instead of a potential, 50-plus yard touchdown. So I thought this was a poor read from Kenny Pickett. This play, just bad placement to tight end. Pat Freiermuth running this Y stick route, this little 5-yard curl. Linebacker with a more outside leverage alignment here, and Pickett throws the ball outside, and that's not where this one needs to be more inside for the tight end to make the play. Now, Edwards played a heck of a game, and he kind of leaps outside late a little bit, so maybe that was Pickett's thinking, but this one I think should be a bit more inside instead. It's a bit outside. I think Freiermuth begins to settle a little bit and cannot make this play, and almost could have been picked off, and so just not great ball placement here from Kenny Pickett. Here's an example of where I think Kenny Pickett will learn and grow, and like all good and great quarterbacks end up doing is, at the appropriate times, playing outside of structure. So I'll walk you guys through this play. This is designed to be a double move to the top to Deontay Johnson. They were trying to work these double moves all game long against these Eagles corners. It really did not work well, but the idea is look off the safety initially and then come back here to that double move on this stop and go or, hitch and go, whatever you want to call it. And so that's what Kenny Pickett does on this play. Johnson's route, I don't know why he cut it off. That's kind of separate. But watching Steven Sims here be able to split this too high look, the thought is maybe that Pickett should have basically abandoned the concept and the structure of the play of throwing this double move to Deontay Johnson and hit Steven Sims down the seam here instead. So again, I'm not really penalizing Pickett too much for the actual decision. He's working within the confines of the play call. But I think maybe as you grow and get better, because, originally I think, Pickett ceased the coverage as he's trying to look off and hold the safety to the top. Do you throw to Steven Sims here over the middle? It's going to be a bit tight, not the easiest throw in the world, but you're playing near the goal line and the windows tighten up and things like that. So maybe a missed opportunity here to hit Sims. Again, the intent of the play is to go to Deontay Johnson, so I understand what Pickett is doing here. I wouldn't say he's quite missing this. He's going through his read and trying to hold that safety. But I think as you learn and grow and get better, you can kind of recognize these things on the fly and play outside the structure of the play, outside the structure of the progression. And whenever something's open to you, when the defense is giving you something, you hit it. This might be Kenny Pickett's worst rep of the afternoon, and this is a 3rd and 5, one of the 6 sacks that Pickett took, and most of them weren't on him, but you're seeing here, this ball should probably be snapped a lot sooner. The Eagles are a little bit confused. You got 2 receivers to the top against 1 cornerback. They're running a nickel blitz here with the cornerback, very much not hiding the fact that he's blitzing. He's not trying to align over number 2 and, play around with this one a little bit. He's very much screaming to Kenny Pickett, hey, I'm blitzing here on this play. And so, this ball probably needs to be snapped quickly to take advantage of the bit of confusion, the cornerback trying to call over for the safety to cover, to compensate for the nickel blitz. And then B, Pickett never really reads or feels or realizes this cornerback is coming off the edge, and he takes a really bad sack here. So this guy's unblocked. Ball's going to come out hot here, and that does not happen. And Pickett's got to be looking for a hot read here. You see Boykin get his eyes around. This one probably should be thrown there, or at least some recognition. This cornerback is coming. Pickett does not see it until it's too late. He's got nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and the corner sacks him. So again, seeing the alignment here, Pickett never gets his eyes, never sees this corner's coming, and that leads to the sack. And so the corner very much in that blitz posture, not acting like he's going to cover that receiver at all. And Pickett just not really seeing that well, looking left here, should immediately be feeling and looking if that corner really is coming, does not, and takes a bad sack here for pretty significant loss. And last example, Chase Claypool sitting down and settling against zone coverage, and Kenny Pickett sees it but decides not to try to test this play. Linebacker is sitting underneath. That's TJ Edwards, who again, really strong performance he had against Pittsburgh, but Pickett decides to hit the very much cover check down option underneath in running back Jalen Warren. You really can't see Claypool on this play. You do see a shadow, and so you can kind of get an idea of where he's at. He's right there. It's going to be a tighter throw. I understand that, but I think there's enough room for Pickett to fit this one. Instead, he's looking at it. He sees it right here, decides against it, and then hits Warren on the check down. And Claypool certainly felt like, based on his body language, this ball should have gone to him. And so hands in the air and a little bit of frustration here at the end of this blowout loss. So inconsequential to the actual game. It's 35-13 at this point. Philadelphia has easily won this one. And the very next play, Pickett tries to test Edwards and throw down the seam and gets tipped and picked for the first and only interception Pickett threw on the day. So again, overall, understanding the circumstances for Pickett, very tough in that game, very tough this season with an offensive line that can't run block well and just zero run game at all. And Pickett being asked to drop back on average roughly 45, 50 times a game, certainly things you don't want to have for any quarterback, much less a rookie. So not all the blame falls on him, but we can talk about where he has to improve. I think he has to do a better job of maybe seeing things, seeing zone coverage, not making those late checks and things like that, and playing a bit more perhaps outside of structure. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.